Today is day 155 of 2026. In today's video, we are basically going to talk about the Mograsys interview that I had on 4th May. This is like around my fifth interview so far, and to be honest, I found it quite easy. Like this interview was quite easy. As for the placement test, in comparison to the previous test that I have answered, that is of kilowatt of Anand and TCS, I would say, even comparing with McLaren, I would say that the test was quite applicative, covering verbal reasoning, quantitative aptitude, logical reasoning, and it was quite lengthy. But because I had a lot of practice earlier because of my TCS preparation, I think I was able to solve all of the questions. And overall, the aptitude test was like okay. I would say it was not easy, but it was definitely not difficult. Then we had the group discussion round. So in the GD, basically the interviewers gave us some topics on spot, like a thought-provoking question, like what do you think about the Indian politics system, and why will you support certain party, and if you don't support it, like why you wouldn't support it. Then a lot of current issues regarding the war and what are our thoughts on it. So the main goal was basically to assess our communication skills, critical thinking skills, and reasoning. So further from that, like there were 60 students around that who was set for the placement test, and there were 13 around six groups created with each group having around five students. So further from which there were only 13 students selected for the technical round. So technical round for my role was basically quite simple in comparison to the developer role, which I've asked my friends about. So it was easier because I had chosen implementation engineer role, which is basically not much into technical work. So the main goal was basically to be able to clear all the rounds and basically just reach the final round. So that was my main goal. So further from which we have five of us right now, and I think the HR round is going to be there, but it is going to be a little bit later, probably after the exams. And yeah, so overall experience, I would say it was not as difficult. And every company has their own way of hiring, like to assess the students. And the process for a service-based company is different, and depending on the level, it can increase its difficulty. As for the product-based company, it is far more difficult to crack the interviews or even the test that they conduct because you need to be very thorough in your problem solving, mostly with the dynamic programmings and graph-based questions. In order to be able to solve those questions the way they are expected to be solved, like there's a lot of focus on optimization. So they give the constraints, and you need to be able to understand which method to use just by looking at the constraints. The goal is not just to like find a solution, the goal is to find the optimal solution. So yeah, you need to be also prepared with a lot of system design questions because currently the goal has shifted from just asking DSA to basically looking for students who are basically knowing about system design, and it's like a requirement for SD1 roles in product-based companies like Amazon, Walmart. So yeah, with that I end day 155 2026.